Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. I welcome you all with the grotesque name of Allah who created the universe, the sun and the moon, who runs the rivers, lakes, and who runs the cloud full of rains. Dear students, today we are going to take up some bright sides and dark side associated with bureaucracy and bureaucratic organization. Now, if you haven't watched the previous lecture, which is about bureaucracy and its characteristics, you might be a little lost when it comes to this one. So I would encourage you to watch the previous part of bureaucracy that is there, then followed by this lecture. There are two versions of the discussion, which are the bureaucracy is good when it provides services to the inhabitants in the country, when it keeps justice, intact law and order, and maintain peace, and which results prosperity and sustainable growth in the economy. The second side, on the other hand, as bureaucracy rose when it causes and nourishes nepotism, corruption at grassroots level, lack competencies, and promote anarchy, which leads to the failure of weak democracies. So first of all, today we are going to discuss about the positive sides, the bright side of democracy. Then after that, I will discuss you the dark side or the disadvantages of the bureaucratic system. So the first one is specialization. There is a systematic division of duties, rights and power, as we discussed earlier yesterday, that there is specialization inside the bureaucratic organization. You remember as specialized in a particular function and know the limits of his or her job. Each official is responsible for a specific function and he is given matching authority to carry out his responsibility. So the means of compliance of his or her instruction at his disposal are strictly limited to this area of specialization. So it means that there is no interference inside the working that has been carried out in the bureaucratic organization. So everyone is specialized and he is just carrying out his or her duties. The second good side, bright side of bureaucracy is that it is well defined. The relationship is well defined inside the bureaucratic organization. So a clearly defined hierarchy is created through delegation of authority, a hierarchy from top to bottom and a hierarchy from bottom to top. Every office and every official are part of this hierarchy. Each official exercises supervision and control over has subordinates with provision for appeal to higher authorities. All activities follow the principle of authority. Each position in the hierarchy has complete jurisdiction on a particular function in terms of both authority and competence. Third, uniformity of action. Detailed rules and procedures are prescribed in writing for carrying out all administrative function. These rules and procedure that are designed to guide the employees and to ensure uniformity of operation. Officials are accountable for the use of official rules and procedure for the performance of their tasks. Moreover, bureaucratic organizations brings efficiency. Efficiency means when we are consuming less resources and we are taking higher benefits. So bureaucratic organization by possession of certain qualities like the rationality, consistency and predictability of behavior, uniformity of action and the well-defined structure along with specialization lead to efficiency in terms of goal achievement and exercise of control. So bureaucratic structure emphasizes rules and regulations which are also intended to increase efficiency of operations. Along with this, another benefit, another bright side of bureaucracy is the predictability of behavior. There is a high degree of predictability of administrative behavior in the bureaucratic structure. This results from the reliability of the formal relation that exists between various officials and employees throughout the organization. Every official is responsible for carrying out the duties assigned to him. This helps in the predicting the production capacity of each office or unit. Moreover, employees work in the same department for a reasonably long period. The departmental manager is able to understand the behavior of subordinates better. This also brings about predictability. These were the bright sides of bureaucracy. Now, on other hand, on the second side, alienation is a vast sense of powerlessness that can induce emotional responses like isolation, sadness, and anger. Bureaucratic alienation then is a feeling of powerlessness as a result of dealing with a formal bureaucratic organization in society. You might feel that you here dealing with a bureaucracy leaves you feeling disempowered, that you are powerless to fight or go against what the bureaucracy wants. So every time you deal with the bureaucracy in the eye of bureaucracy, you are dealt with a case. It doesn't matter about your personal situation or your personal need. The bureaucracy has to deal with everyone in the same passion and by the same standard. There is a part of this idea of efficiency, of predictability, of control. So dealing with bureaucracy this way, they can make you feel dehumanized or alienated. Bureaucratic alienation then is feeling of powerlessness as a result of dealing with a former bureaucratic organization in society. I'm sure you are familiar with what this feel like. Think about time when you have been so prostrated and felt so powerless, like there was nothing you could do. You had to produce that document and you had to give it to this office at that time. Otherwise, you wouldn't get that driver's lesson. Or if you fall behind on your home payments and a bank comes to foreclose your home, you might feel like a human, like you are entitled to this home and that you can make the payments later if they just give me little bit more time. A bureaucratic organization stresses mechanical way of doing things. Organizational rules and regulations are given priority over individual needs and emotions. The office a person holds is more important than the person himself. Contractual obligations are given primary over human relations. But in the eyes of the bureau, it doesn't matter. You are powerless. You are a case. You are not a human with its own syncretic situation. There is nothing you can do. You are powerless against the bureaucratic organization, and this is one of the negative side of it: bureaucratic alienation. The second problem of bureaucratic organization is what we call bureaucratic ritualism. Bureaucracies are steadfast rule followers, and bureaucratic ritualism is an adherence to rules, codes of conduct, and possesses and processes at an almost dogmatic level. That has become possible to lose sight of the goals of the organization and getting bogged down in just following the formal rules. So the steadfast application of processes and rules can, in fact, then undermine the efficiency and the mission of the organization itself. Rules should be means to end the process, and the rules should not be the ends of themselves. And when this occur, we say bureaucratic ritualism occur. I get frustrated with this all the time in dealing with bureaucracies or formal organization. You think, look, if you would just break this one rule, this one time, everything would work out so much simpler, easier, and better for everybody. But no, it will not work like that. Bureaucratic ritualism says this can't happen. And bureaucratic ritualism then as what is behind this common idea of the red tape, getting bogged down in the process of maintaining, uploading the rules. That's what we means when we say, oh really, there is just so much red tape with going that activity. The third problem with bureaucratic as organization is what we call bureaucratic inertia, which is the idea that once a bureaucracy is created, it tends to stay in motion. It tends to be very difficult to destroy because bureaucratic organizations help to perpetuate themselves. They are often implemented and designed to achieve goals, but once those goals are achieved, the bureau just don't go away. It is filled with people who work there, who have jobs, that want to keep their jobs and keep working there. They are maintaining their status quo. So the bureau tends to shift its goal a little bit and try to remain relevant after its initial purpose has been met. This is bureaucratic inertia. And that's why so many people say they are frustrated with big governments, and what they see as wasteful government spending, because bureaucratic inertia keep these organizations going maybe after they are not useful anymore. So this is the underlying sentiment when people say they are frustrated with wasteful government spending because of bureaucratic inertia. The fourth and the final the fourth problem with bureaucratic organization is oligarchy. Oligarchy means when people bureaucratic organizations or oligarchies. There is hierarchical ranking of authority and bureaucracies in a pyramid shape, such that there is a few people at the top who rule masses at the bottom. This is a problem when people higher are distanced from the public. They might feel privileged when all of that power is concentrated at the top. And in this fashion, it can be damaging for society. Politicians get this complaint a lot, that they are disconnected and remote from the needs of people. This can happen with oligarchical organizations. We discussed on detail about bureaucracy, its characteristics, then its bright sides. Then after that, we discussed the dark sides of bureaucracy. So what is the situation there in our country? How is the bureaucratic organization they are carrying out their activity? So Pakistan came into being on 14 August 1947 under the leadership of Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, who became its first Governor General. It consisted of Muslim majority areas like Bengal, Punjab, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and tribal areas, Murwar, Sindh, and Balochistan. These were the parts of old British colony of the India. It was a country facing short resources for existence, seeking security and stability to maintain its identity. A newborn country. Its prime task was to develop a strong bureaucracy and political system, to build a national integrity. As the founder of the nation said, the foundation of our state has been laid, and it is now for you to build it. For the lack of administrative talent, political and administrative structure then followed the legacies of the British left behind. The main problem of our country, the main problem of administrative development in the new state had to change the colonial bureaucratic practice with a new standard, but imposed a highly centralized constitutional system by the government and could not encourage the old bureaucratic practice in the country, which was physically and culturally distinct. As a developing country, the focus should have had been to change new concept from the colonial experiences and the Western concept of bureaucratic countries to bring about the desired change for political and economic stability which were fundamental for leading a country to modernization. And you know that before the British they departed, so the Lord Macaulay in his policy statement he told that we will create a class of people who will communicate between us and the common masses. So that class of people they will be what they would be physically they would be Indian, but in their thoughts and thinking they would be like Britishers. So that class is now working as bureaucracy. So you can see there is no change in our bureaucratic system. So our bureaucracies, I hope you were dear students, it was all about today's lecture. We discussed about bureaucracy, its bright sides and dark sides. If you have any question, so write your question in comments or contact in your WhatsApp group. Thank you so much.